The doctor confirmed my vasectomy was successful, yet somehow my fiancée Brittany was pregnant. When I discovered texts between her and NBA star Ballistic Jones about their plan to use me for fame, everything clicked. She had manipulated me into sterilizing myself while secretly carrying another man's child. Her mockery ignited something cold within me. I wouldn't just walk away. I would orchestrate a revenge so public they'd never recover from the humiliation. I stood backstage at the DNA reveal extravaganza, turning the USB drive over in my hand. The weight of it was nothing compared to the burden I had carried these past months. Through the monitor, I could see Brittany smiling for the cameras, radiant in her designer maternity dress. Beside her, Ballistic Jones shifted uncomfortably in his custom suit. They had no idea what was coming. 2 minutes, Mr. Wilson, a production assistant said. I nodded, slipping the drive into my pocket. You wanted fame, Brittany, I whispered. I'll give you infamy. 6 months earlier, I believed I was the luckiest man alive. Brittany was everything I thought I wanted. Beautiful, ambitious, charismatic. When she said yes to my proposal, I felt like I had won the lottery. I remember the night she first brought up the vasectomy. We were having dinner at her favorite restaurant, the one she always insisted we take photos at for her Instagram. Kevin, baby, she said, reaching for my hand across the table. I've been thinking about our future. Her eyes filled with tears so perfect they should have been suspicious. Looking back, I should have noticed how they never fell. I want children with you someday, she continued. But not yet. My brand is just taking off. A baby now would ruin everything we've worked for. I frowned. We can use birth control, we already do. She shook her head. It's not reliable enough. I can't risk it. A vasectomy is reversible. When we're ready, you can undo it. This way, we're in control. I hesitated. It seemed extreme. But the way she looked at me, like my agreement was the ultimate proof of love, I caved. The procedure was quick. Brittany drove me home, took care of me that weekend, posted about what an amazing, considerate partner I was. The post got $20,000 likes. I didn't know then that every caring gesture was calculated, every sweet word a lie. Weeks passed. The doctor confirmed the vasectomy was successful. We resumed our life, our relationship seemingly stronger than ever. Then came the morning I found Brittany in the bathroom, pregnancy test in hand, eyes wide with what I now know was practice shock. Kevin, she gasped, it's positive. My mind raced. That's impossible. The doctor said, it's a miracle. She threw her arms around me. 1 in a million. We beat the odds. I wanted to believe it. For 48 hours, I did. I told myself medical miracles happen. I Googled vasectomy failure rates. I convinced myself we were the exception. Then I saw the text. I never checked Brittany's phone. Never had reason to. But it buzzed while she was in the shower, and the preview caught my eye. B still doesn't suspect anything. Ball confirmed. He's in. This baby is our ticket to everything. My stomach dropped. I swiped open her phone. She had never bothered to password protect it, so confident was she in my trust. I found the entire conversation with her friend Melissa. Kevin is such a sap. The vasectomy was genius. When are you telling him about Ballistic? After the first trimester, playing it as a medical miracle for now. What if he demands a paternity test? He won't. He trusts me completely. By the time anyone questions it, Ball and I will have the reality deal signed. I read every message twice, my hands shaking. When I hear people talk about having the rug pulled out from under them, I think about that moment. The vertigo, the nausea, the sense that reality itself was warping. I stayed calm somehow, put the phone back exactly where it was, went to work like normal, kissed her goodbye like I didn't know our entire relationship was a calculated fraud. That night, I confronted her. I needed to hear it from her lips. Is the baby mine, Brittany? She blinked, her influencer mask slipping for just a second. Of course it is, baby. Why would you ask that? I saw your texts with Melissa. A pause. Then, remarkably, she laughed. Laughed in my face as my world crumbled. Well, that saves time, she said, all pretense dropping. No, obviously it's not yours. You had a vasectomy, remember? One that you agreed to. She smirked, grabbing her purse. It's ballistics. We've been planning this for months. I stared at her. Why? Do you have any idea what a baby with Ballistic Jones is worth? The sponsorships? The reality show? I'll be set for life. She examined her manicure casually. You were never going to be famous, Kevin. You were never going to be rich. But you were trusting enough to be useful. The coldness in her voice chilled me. This woman I had planned to spend my life with saw me as nothing but a stepping stone. So everything was a lie? Us? Not everything. She shrugged. You were convenient, stable, the perfect cover while I set things up with Ball. And now what? You just walk away? No. She rolled her eyes. Now I play the sympathetic single mom-to-be, heartbroken when you couldn't accept our miracle baby wasn't yours. The brave influencer raising a child alone while pursuing her dreams. People will eat it up. She headed for the door, pausing to look back at me with something like pity. What are you going to do anyway? Nobody will believe you. By next week, you'll be forgotten and I'll be on magazine covers. After she left, I stood in our bathroom staring at my reflection. The man looking back at me was someone I barely recognized, hollow-eyed, pale, destroyed. But then something happened. As I stared at my reflection, I felt a shift inside me. The pain didn't disappear, but it crystallized into something harder, colder, more focused. I realized in that moment that Brittany had made a critical error. She thought the game was over. She thought I would crumble. She never considered I might play. That night I didn't sleep. I researched social media algorithms, viral content patterns, audience psychology. I studied how scandals spread, how narratives form. By morning I had the beginnings of a plan. I looked at myself in the mirror again, this time with a clarity I had never known before. You want to use me as your stepping stone to fame, Brittany? Let's see who the better player really is. My first video was simple, just me sitting on our couch, eyes red from what appeared to be tears. I have some amazing news to share, I told the camera. Against all medical odds, my fiancé and I are expecting a miracle baby. I explained the vasectomy, the confirmed success of the procedure, then the shocking positive pregnancy test. I spoke with wonder about the 1 in a million chance. Thanked God. I gushed about Brittany. I posted it on a new account, Vasectomy Dad Vlogs. Then I waited. The response was immediate. By morning, the video had 50,000 views. Medical professionals commented about the impossibility. Religious viewers called it divine intervention. Skeptics demanded proof. I was playing a dangerous game. I knew it. But every comment, every view, every share was a brick in the foundation of what would become Brittany's prison. The truth was, I never expected to find myself in this position. Before all this, I was just a normal guy with a normal job. I thought I had found someone to build a life with. I had been so blind, so trusting, so stupid. My second video featured me at the doctor's office, getting confirmation about the vasectomy's success rate. On camera, the doctor explained that it was virtually impossible for a man with a confirmed successful vasectomy to impregnate someone. But here we are, I said with a bewildered smile. That video hit 200,000 views in 24 hours. Media outlets started reaching out. Medical journals requested interviews. Brittany called me, furious. "What are you doing?" she hissed. "Celebrating." "Our miracle," I replied calmly. "Isn't that what you wanted? You need to stop this now." "Why? I thought you wanted attention. Fame. Isn't that the whole point?" She hung up. I smiled. Phase 1 was complete. The next day, I posted a video announcing a weekly series documenting our journey to miraculous parenthood. I made sure to tag Brittany in every post. Her followers began flocking to my account for updates. Her comment section filled with questions about the miracle vasectomy baby. I remember watching her on her phone that night, frantically trying to control the narrative. I saw the panic in her eyes. It was intoxicating. Looking back, I think that was the moment I truly understood the power I was wielding. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about justice. By week 3, Vasectomy Dad Vlogs had 1.5 million subscribers. My earnest, emotional updates about preparations for the baby, nursery decoration, name ideas, all of it resonated with viewers. They saw me as the devoted father-to-be, overcome with joy at the miracle we had been granted. Meanwhile, I was subtly planting seeds of doubt, a tearful confessional about my fears that the baby might not be mine, quickly followed by self-recrimination for such faithless thoughts. A video of me reading medical journals about paternity and genetics, just to understand the miraculous nature of our situation better. Brittany was trapped. If she denounced me publicly, she would have to explain the pregnancy. If she admitted the truth, her carefully constructed image would shatter. So she played along, appearing occasionally in my videos with a tight smile and dead eyes. But I wasn't done. Not even close. The baby shower was my masterstroke. I announced it as the most epic celebration of our miracle. Blessing, complete with NBA theme to honor all the basketball we'll be playing with our future child. I spent a fortune on it, rented a mansion, hired a production crew, invited every influencer, D-list celebrity, and media personality who would come, live streamed the entire thing, and I made sure to send a special invitation to Ballistic Jones himself. As a family friend who's been so supportive during this journey, the invitation read. I had it delivered to his team's practice facility, with a camera crew documenting our special day preparations. He didn't come, of course, but his absence was noted, commented on, speculated about. The shower itself was a masterclass in subtle sabotage. I had arranged for a special gift to be opened on the live stream, a paternity test kit with a note that read, just in case, miracles should be verified. I played it off as a tasteless joke from a friend, laughed awkwardly, changed the subject, but the damage was done. The comment section exploded with theories. That night, Brittany confronted me in our kitchen. "You're making me look like a fool," she spat. I smiled. "I'm making us famous. Isn't that what you wanted?" "Not like this. You're ruining everything. How can celebrating our miracle baby ruin anything, unless there's something you're not telling me?" She glared at me. "This stops now." I shook my head. "It's too late. We have 5 million subscribers now. The people want to follow our journey." The followers were real. The engagement was real. The money was real too. Sponsors were lining up for Vasectomy Dad Vlogs. Talk shows were calling. I was becoming the very thing Brittany had wanted to be, and she could do nothing but watch. I never thought I'd find satisfaction in someone else's misery. I was never that kind of person. But every time I saw the trapped look in Brittany's eyes, I felt a cold thrill of victory. The next phase required escalation. I needed to force their hand. So I announced the ultimate project. Who's My Baby Daddy? The Vasectomy. Vanguard Story, a reality TV special culminating in a live DNA test reveal. In the spirit of complete transparency, and to answer the question so many of you have, I explained in the announcement video, we'll be doing a televised paternity reveal. Because when you experience a miracle, you want to document every aspect. Within hours, 3 networks were bidding on the rights. I took the highest offer. Brittany called, screaming, "You cannot do this, I won't participate." "Then don't," I said simply. "But I think your absence would raise even more questions, don't you?" The truth was, her participation wasn't necessary. I had enough evidence, enough of a following, enough leverage to destroy her with or without her cooperation. But I wanted her there. I wanted her to watch as her scheme collapsed around her. I got a call from Ballistic's agent the next day. Threats, legal action, defamation claims. I laughed. Your client hasn't been named in anything, though his absence from such a significant event in Brittany's life does seem strange, doesn't it? People are starting to talk. The trap was set. 2 days later, Brittany announced on her Instagram that she and Ballistic would participate in the DNA reveal to put ridiculous rumors to rest once and for all. She thought she was calling my bluff. She thought I had nothing. She didn't know about the recording I had made, the one where she admitted everything when she thought I wasn't home. I smiled at the announcement. All the pieces were falling into place. They thought they were still in control of this narrative. They had no idea what was coming. 3 years ago, I was just a regular guy looking for love. Now, I was the architect of the most elaborately planned public destruction in social media history. It should have scared me, how much I had changed. Instead, it felt like evolution. With the TV special confirmed, I moved into high gear. The network wanted to film preparation content for the lead-up to the big reveal. Perfect for my plans. I insisted on creative control. They agreed immediately. 8 million followers and climbing gave me leverage. The irony wasn't lost on me. Brittany had wanted fame, and now I was the one with the power. We filmed segments about nursery preparation, baby clothes shopping, and heartfelt conversations about our feelings regarding the upcoming paternity reveal. Brittany performed her part with practiced precision, all smiles on camera, vicious the moment filming stopped. "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" she snapped after one particularly emotional segment. "Just embracing the journey," I replied. "Our miracle journey." The network also wanted to film Ballistic. He reluctantly agreed to one segment. I made sure to be there. We met at his mansion. The camera crew set up in his trophy room. I extended my hand. He ignored it. "Let's get this over with," he said. The interview was brief. Ballistic denied any relationship beyond friendship with Brittany. Claimed he was participating to support friends during a confusing time. I nodded sympathetically throughout. Then, as planned, I asked the question, "Does it bother you that some people think you might be the father?" He stiffened. "Those people don't know what they're talking about." "Of course not," I agreed. "But you can understand their confusion. A medical miracle pregnancy. Your close friendship with Brittany. The timing of it all." His eyes narrowed. "Watch yourself, man." I smiled. Just trying to address the rumors head on. That's what this special is all about. The segment aired as a teaser. Viewers dissected Ballistic's body language, his defensiveness, his veiled threat. The comments were merciless. His team's PR department went into damage control mode. I never expected to become this calculating. Before all this, I was the guy who apologized when someone stepped on my foot. Now I was systematically destroying 2 people's reputations with surgical precision. And I felt nothing but satisfaction. While the network built hype, I worked on securing the final piece of my plan. I needed absolute confirmation about my vasectomy. My doctor agreed to appear on the show. He brought my medical records, test results proving my sterility, all properly redacted for privacy, but clear in their conclusion. I could not possibly have fathered a child. 2 weeks before the special, I received a call from someone unexpected. Megan, Brittany's former roommate. "I saw what's happening," she said. "You should know this isn't her first time." We met at a coffee shop. The story she told me confirmed what I had suspected. Brittany was a calculated operator. She had pulled similar schemes before. Not as elaborate, but the same pattern. Identify a useful man, extract maximum benefit, discard when no longer needed. She did it to my brother, Megan explained. Dated him for his connections to the music industry, dumped him once she had the contacts she wanted. I asked her if she would share this on camera. She agreed. 2 days later, I received another call. This time from a model who had briefly dated Ballistic. "He's done this before too," she told me. "Gets women pregnant, pays them off, makes them sign NDAs. The pieces fit together perfectly. This wasn't just a one-time scheme. This was who they were." I added both women to the special. The network was ecstatic. The ratings projections doubled. 1 week before the big reveal, I executed the most crucial part of my plan. I knew Brittany still had a key to my apartment. I knew she came by sometimes when I wasn't home to gather things she'd left behind. I set up a hidden camera in the living room. Then I left a folder of DNA test preparation documents prominently on the coffee table. Then I waited. She took the bait 3 days later. I watched remotely as she entered, went straight for the folder and called her friend. "I'm at Kevin's now," she said, flipping through the papers. "This DNA test is going to be a disaster. Ball's going to freak when it comes back as his." "Can't you fake it somehow?" her friend asked. Brittany laughed. "Kevin's such an idiot. The vasectomy was genius. Now he can't question the baby isn't his. Once Ballistic's kid is born, we'll be set for life." "What if he already knows?" "Who cares? No one will believe him over me. I've got 3 million followers. He was nobody until I came along. After the show, I'll play the victim, say he couldn't handle the truth. The sponsors will line up to support a strong single mom." Every word was captured with perfect clarity. I had her. Finally, irrefutably, I had her. The night before the special, I couldn't sleep. Not from nerves, but from anticipation. I had spent months building to this moment. Every video, every post, every segment had been leading here. I thought about the man I used to be. Trusting. Kind. Easily manipulated. That man was gone. In his place was someone harder, colder. Someone who understood that some people deserved to be destroyed. Morning came. I arrived at the studio early. The set was extravagant. Medical displays explaining vasectomies, large screens for the DNA results, comfortable couches for the emotional moments. The director briefed me on the schedule, introductions, background on the miracle pregnancy, medical expert testimony, then the DNA reveal. "And then we have time set aside for emotional reactions," he explained. "I think you'll get plenty of those," I assured him. Brittany arrived next, glowing in a designer maternity dress. She avoided my eyes. Ballistic came last, flanked by his agent and a lawyer. He looked nervous. Good. The audience filed in. The lights went up, cameras rolled. The host, a syndicated daytime talk show veteran, introduced the miraculous story that had captivated the nation. The audience applauded. On cue, I played my part perfectly. The devoted partner, the man overcome with emotion at the prospect of fatherhood, the guy who just wanted the truth. Brittany spoke about her shock and joy at the pregnancy, how blessed she felt, how supportive I had been. Ballistic acknowledged their friendship, denied anything more, said he was here to support both Kevin and Brittany during this important moment. The medical expert explained the near impossibility of pregnancy after a confirmed successful vasectomy. Less than 0.1% chance, he emphasized. Then it was time for my doctor. He confirmed my vasectomy had been successful, showed the test results proving my sterility. The audience murmured. The DNA test results were brought out in a sealed envelope. The host built the tension, asking how we were feeling. Nervous, Brittany admitted, but confident in our miracle. Just want the truth, Ballistic said firmly. I nodded. Before we open that envelope, there's something I think the audience should see. The director looked confused. This wasn't in the script. I pulled the USB drive from my pocket. I have some additional context that might help everyone understand the situation better. Before anyone could object, I walked to the technician's booth and handed over the drive. Play it, I said. The screen lit up with Brittany in my apartment, phone to her ear. Kevin's such an idiot. The vasectomy was genius. Now he can't question the baby isn't his. Once Ballistic's kid is born, we'll be set for life. The audience gasped. Brittany froze. Ballistic's mouth fell open. The video continued, capturing every damning word. When it ended, the studio was silent. I turned to the camera. I think we know what the DNA test will show. The host, professional that she was, recovered quickly. Let's confirm anyway. She opened the envelope. The DNA test shows that Mr. Jones is the father of Brittany Taylor's unborn child with 99.9% certainty. The audience erupted. Some booed, some shouted questions. Brittany's face had gone white. Ballistics' lawyer was already on his phone. I just stood there, watching their carefully constructed lives collapse in real time. 3 years of pain and betrayal culminated in this perfect moment of justice. It felt like flying. The studio erupted into chaos. Security moved in as Brittany lunged at me, screaming obscenities. Ballistic sat frozen, his agent frantically whispering in his ear. The host tried desperately to regain control. "Cut to commercial," I heard someone yell. But it was too late. We were broadcasting live. Millions were watching Brittany's carefully crafted image implode in real time. I stood still amid the storm, oddly calm. This moment had played out in my mind 1,000 times. The reality was sweeter than I'd imagined. "You ruined my life," Brittany screamed as security held her back. "No." I smiled. "You did that yourself." The commercial break finally came. The studio cleared except for essential personnel. Legal teams huddled in corners. Network executives made frantic calls. The host approached me, microphone off. "Did you plan this from the beginning?" I shrugged. "She wanted fame. I just made sure she got the right kind." When we returned from commercial, the atmosphere had changed. The host addressed the audience with practiced gravity about the shocking revelations and deeply personal betrayal that had unfolded. Brittany and Ballistic had been moved to separate rooms. Their lawyers advised against returning to the stage. It didn't matter. The damage was done. The host asked if I wanted to make a closing statement. I approached the center of the stage, looked directly into the camera. "I came here today for the truth. Not just for me, but for everyone watching. Some truths are ugly. Some people are worse. Thank you for witnessing my journey." I walked off stage to scattered applause. In the Kaikonor green room, my phone was exploding with notifications. Vasectomy Vanguard and Brittany Exposed were trending nationwide. Clips from the reveal were already viral. I never thought revenge would feel this good. I had been raised to turn the other cheek, to rise above. But there was a purity to this vindication that washed away any moral qualms. They had tried to use me, humiliate me, discard me. Instead, I had exposed them for exactly who they were. The aftermath was swift and brutal. By evening, 3 of Brittany's major sponsors had pulled their contracts. Her management team released a statement about taking time away from social media to reflect. Her follower count dropped by hundreds of thousands within hours. Ballistic's team went into crisis mode. His agent issued a statement claiming he had been misled about the nature of the relationship and would be taking responsibility as appropriate. Translation: damage control and private settlements. My hotel room became a fortress as requests poured in. Every talk show wanted an interview. Book publishers offered deals. Streaming platforms pitched documentaries about the vasectomy deception. I took one, Call That Night, from the network that had broadcast the special. Their ratings had shattered records. "We want to offer you your own show," the executive said. "A series exposing social media frauds and manufactured relationships." "I'll think about it," I replied. The truth was, I hadn't planned beyond the reveal. Destruction had been my only goal. Now that I had achieved it, I felt strangely hollow. The next morning, I woke to news that Brittany had been hospitalized for exhaustion. Ballistic's wife had filed for divorce. The scandal had expanded beyond my wildest expectations. I never anticipated becoming a symbol for betrayed partners everywhere. My follower count hit 15 million overnight. My inbox filled with stories from people who had been manipulated, deceived, used. They called me brave, a hero, the man who fought back. It was surreal. 6 months ago, I was nobody. Now I was a cultural phenomenon. 3 days after the reveal, I received a text from an unknown number, an address and a time, nothing else. I recognized the address as Brittany's apartment building. I shouldn't have gone. Logic said to stay away, but curiosity won out. She opened the door looking nothing like the polished influencer the world knew. No makeup, hair unwashed, eyes hollow. "Why did you do it?" she asked, letting me in. "You know why. You could have just left. Divorced me. Moved on. Why destroy me?" I looked at her, really looked at her, stripped of her glamour, her confidence, her calculation. She seemed smaller somehow, diminished. "Because you deserved it," I said simply. "You manipulated me into surgical sterility so you could cheat with impunity. You planned to use me as your cover story while you built a life with another man. You thought I would just collapse and disappear." She sank onto the couch. "I never thought you had it in you. This level of calculation. This cruelty. I learned from the best." I meant that. Truly. Brittany had taught me how to be ruthless, how to see people as pieces on a board, how to sacrifice emotion for strategy. I had become her in order to destroy her. "What happens now?" she asked. "You lose," I said. "Your sponsors, your followers, your reputation, your future, everything you wanted gone. Ballistic loses too. His marriage, his clean image, his endorsements. And you win." "I already have." I started toward the door, then paused. There was something I needed to know. Was any of it real? Us? She hesitated. For a moment I saw something like regret in her eyes. Then it vanished. "No." She shook her head. "You were just convenient." I nodded. It was what I had expected. Still, hearing it hurt. Some tiny part of me had hoped there had been something genuine beneath the lies. "Goodbye, Brittany." I left her sitting alone in her half-empty apartment. Her management had already moved key belongings to an undisclosed location. The paparazzi, camped outside, had forced her into virtual hiding. Walking to my car, I passed a magazine stand. My face stared back from 3 different covers. "Vasectomy Vanguard, Revenge of the Deceived Man," screamed one headline. "How Kevin Wilson Exposed the Ultimate Betrayal," declared another. I had become something I never imagined, a celebrity. Not through talent or beauty or achievement, but through calculated destruction. Through perfect, methodical revenge. My phone rang. The network executive again. "Have you thought about our offer?" I had. The show made sense. I had a platform now. Influence. Power. Why not use it? "I'm in," I said. That night I returned to my hotel and found a package waiting. Inside was a contract for Exposed the Kevin Wilson Show and a bottle of champagne with a note. "To new beginnings." I popped the cork and poured a glass. Toasted my reflection in the window. The man looking back at me was unrecognizable from the trusting fool who had agreed to a vasectomy for love. That man was gone forever. In his place stood someone new. Someone who understood that the world rewards not kindness but power. Not trust but strategy. Not love but calculation. I had become what I despised, and I had never felt more alive. 6 months after the DNA reveal, my life bore no resemblance to what it had been before. Exposed premiered to record ratings. Each week I helped uncover social media frauds, relationship scams, and manufactured personas. The public couldn't get enough. My face appeared on billboards. Strangers stopped me for photos. I had become that rare thing in modern culture. A.T., villain to some, a hero to most, but unforgettable to all. Brittany, meanwhile, had vanished from public view. Her accounts went dormant. Her sponsors moved on. Her management dropped her. She became the case study in my first episode. The Pregnancy Trap, Anatomy of a Social Climb. I never expected fame to feel so empty. The adulation, the money, the influence, none of it filled the void created by her betrayal. I had won completely, yet victory tasted strangely bitter. One Tuesday morning, my assistant handed me a thick envelope. No return address. Inside was a copy of a tabloid magazine from 3 years earlier. A small article was circled in red. NBA star Ballistic Jones secretly Pays off model after pregnancy scare. Also enclosed was a handwritten note. This wasn't her first rodeo. Check the dates. I did. The article was published 2 weeks before Brittany first suggested my vasectomy. It all clicked into place. This wasn't just an opportunistic betrayal, it was a long-game con. Brittany had specifically targeted me after Ballistic's previous scandal. She needed someone trusting, someone malleable, someone who wouldn't question her. That was the final piece. The revelation that completed the puzzle. I hadn't just been betrayed. I had been selected for betrayal, chosen for my exploitability. The rage I thought had burnt out flared anew. But this time it was colder, more focused. This wasn't just about Brittany anymore. This was about a system that rewarded people like her. People who used others as stepping stones. People who sacrificed authenticity for attention. I took the magazine to my production team. I want to do a special episode, I said, about repeat offenders. They loved the idea. Research began immediately. We uncovered 3 previous relationships where Brittany had leveraged a partner for social advancement. 2 instances where Ballistic had impregnated women, then paid for their silence. This wasn't just a story about my betrayal anymore. It was about a pattern, a business model based on exploitation. We spent weeks building the episode, interviewed former partners, obtained records of payoffs, constructed a timeline showing the calculated nature of their entire operation. The night before we were set to announce the special, I received a text from an unknown number. Stop now or face consequences. I smiled. They were scared. Good. The announcement went out the next morning. Expose Special, The Serial Scammers, was scheduled for the following month. The promo featured silhouettes of Brittany and Ballistic with a tagline, "It wasn't just once. It wasn't just me." 2 days later, Brittany's lawyer sent a cease and desist. Ballistic's team threatened a lawsuit. The network's legal department assured me we were protected by substantial evidence. I never thought I'd find myself at the center of a major legal battle. Before all this, I avoided even minor confrontations. Now I was taking on a powerful athlete and a once influential social media star. The old me would have backed down. The new me thrived on the fight. 3 weeks before the special was set to air, I received another text. "Meet me, we need to talk." This time I recognized the number. Ballistic. Against my team's advice, I agreed. We met at a private room in an upscale restaurant. He came alone, no entourage, no lawyers. "What do you want?" I asked. "For this to end," he said. "Name your price." I laughed. "You still don't get it. This was never about money." "Then what? Revenge? You've had that. The world knows what happened. Brittany's career is over. My wife left me. Isn't that enough?" I studied him. The mighty Ballistic, Jones reduced to pleading, his signature confidence gone, his carefully constructed image in tatters. "No." I leaned forward. "Because you're still Ballistic Jones. You'll recover. You'll play basketball. You'll make millions. Your fans will forgive you. In 2 years, this will be a footnote in your biography." He stared at me. "What do you want?" "I want the pattern exposed. I want the world to know this wasn't a one-time lapse in judgment. This was your business model, both of you. Using people, discarding them, moving on to the next target." I stood, dropping cash for my untouched drink. "See you on air." As I walked out, he called after me. "You've changed, man. You're not the guy she described." I turned. "What did she say about me?" "That you were sweet, decent, the kind of guy who would never hurt anyone." I smiled coldly. She was right. I was that guy. She killed him. The week before the special, Brittany broke her silence. She released a video addressing the controversy. Tears streamed perfect tracks through her makeup as she claimed to be a victim of my obsessive revenge campaign. I never imagined someone could lie so convincingly while telling such obvious falsehoods. She claimed I had known about her relationship with Ballistic, that I had agreed to be the public father while they had a private arrangement, that I had turned on them when the attention shifted from me to her. It was desperate, transparent, pathetic, but it was also strategic. She was trying to get ahead of what was coming. The network's PR team advised me not to respond. "Let your show do the talking," they said. The night of the special arrived. I sat in the control room watching the final edit before broadcast. The evidence was devastating. Text, messages, bank transfers, testimony from previous victims. A clear, documented pattern of similar schemes spanning 5 years. 30 minutes before airtime, my phone rang. Brittany again. "Please," she said, her voice breaking. "Don't do this. You've won. You've destroyed everything I built. Isn't that enough?" For a moment I hesitated. There was something in her voice. Real fear. Real desperation. Not the calculated performance I had grown to recognize, but genuine panic. "It's too late," I said finally. "The truth deserves to be told." "The truth?" She laughed bitterly. "You're not doing this for truth. You're doing it because it feels good, because you like watching me suffer. You're no better than me now, Kevin." Her words hit harder than I expected, because deep down I knew she was right. Revenge had changed me, warped me. I had become as calculating, as ruthless, as she had ever been, but I had come too far to stop now. "Goodbye, Brittany," I said, and hung up. The special aired to the network's highest ratings ever. Serial scammers trended worldwide. Clips spread across every platform. The evidence was so overwhelming that even Brittany's few remaining defenders fell silent. Ballistics team issued a statement announcing his temporary retirement to focus on personal matters. 3 more women came forward with similar stories about him. Brittany disappeared completely. Her social accounts were deleted, her apartment emptied. According to industry sources, she left the country. I had won. Completely. Totally. Devastatingly. Standing in my penthouse that night, looking out at the city lights, I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I felt hollow, empty. I had sacrificed everything I once was to destroy someone who had wronged me. I had become a mirror image of what I despised. My phone buzzed with congratulatory messages, ratings reports, offers for book deals, speaking tours, movie rights. The machine I had built continued to grow, feed, expand. I stared at my reflection in the window. The man looking back was unrecognizable, successful, powerful, empty. What had this all been for? Revenge? Justice? Or something darker? Something I didn't want to name? The truth was simpler and more terrifying than I wanted to admit. I had enjoyed it. Every moment of their destruction. Every tear. Every plea. Every loss. And that realization scared me more than anything Brittany had ever done. 1 year after the special aired, Exposed had become a cultural phenomenon. We had uncovered dozens of social media frauds, relationship scams, and manufactured personas. Each episode stripped away carefully constructed facades to reveal the ugliness beneath. I had become a different kind of celebrity. Not beloved, but respected, feared. People watched their words around me, afraid I might detect deception in their casual lies. The network renewed us for 2 more seasons. My book, The Vasectomy Vanguard, How I Exposed the Ultimate Betrayal, hit the bestseller list. I bought a house in the hills far from the apartment I had shared with Brittany. No one had heard from her in months. Ballistic had retreated from public life, his endorsements canceled, his career in limbo. Their destruction was complete, yet I found myself thinking about them more, not less. I never expected success to feel so isolating. Fame had given me everything except connection. Women approached me constantly, but always with an edge of caution. Nobody wanted to risk becoming my next expose. In March, my producer handed me a manila envelope. Someone left this at reception. Inside was a tabloid from 6 months earlier. A small article circled in red. Disgraced influencer Brittany Taylor spotted waiting tables in Arizona diner. The accompanying photo showed a woman who barely resembled the polished social media star I had known. No extensions, no makeup, uniform wrinkled, eyes tired. I stared at the image for a long time. This woman had manipulated me, lied to me, planned to use me as a stepping stone to fame. She had deserved everything that happened to her. So why did the picture make me feel hollow? That night, I dreamed of Brittany for the first time in months. Not the glamorous influencer, but the waitress from the photo. She was trying to tell me something, but I couldn't hear her over the sound of applause from an invisible audience. I woke uneasy. Something felt unfinished. The next morning, I told my team I needed a week off. No explanation, just time. They assumed I was burning out. I let them think it. I never thought I'd find myself driving to Arizona. Before all this, I rarely left my comfort zone. Now I was crossing state lines on a strange compulsion I couldn't name. The diner was exactly as pictured. Small, faded, the kind of place that existed in every small town, serving the same food it had for 50 years. I sat in a corner booth, menu up, watching, waiting. An hour passed, then another. I ordered coffee. Pie. More coffee. Then she appeared. Thinner than I remembered, hair shorter. Uniform faded from too many washes, but undeniably Brittany. She didn't notice me at first. Moved between tables mechanically. Smiled without it reaching her eyes. Wrote orders on a small pad. Then she turned. Our eyes met. Recognition flashed. Fear followed. She dropped her order pad. "What are you doing here?" she whispered. "I don't know," I answered truthfully. She glanced nervously at her manager. "My shift ends at 8. Wait if you want, or leave. I don't care." I waited, watched her work, studied how she flinched when customers recognized her, how she hunched her shoulders against their whispers, how different she was from the confident woman who had once commanded rooms. At 8, she emerged in jeans and a plain t-shirt, nodded toward my rental car. "You driving?" We rode in silence. She directed me to a small apartment complex on the edge of town, Unit 14, ground floor. Nothing like the luxury high-rise she had once inhabited. Inside was sparse. Functional furniture, no decorations, no plants, no sign of the woman who had once curated every aspect of her environment for maximum social media impact. "So," she said, sitting on a worn couch, "you came to see the wreckage up close." "I saw the article," I admitted. "I wanted to see if it was true." "It's true. This is me now." She gestured around the empty apartment. No followers, no sponsors, no friends, no options, just coffee and pie and tips that barely cover rent. I never expected to feel conflicted. I had dreamed of her downfall for so long, had orchestrated it meticulously, had celebrated it publicly. Now faced with the reality, something felt off. "Ballistic?" I asked. She laughed bitterly. "Disappeared the moment the special aired. Last I heard, he was playing in some European league. Men like him always land on their feet." She was right. He had resources she didn't, options she lacked. It wasn't fair, but then, none of this had been about fairness. "Why Arizona?" I asked. "My grandmother lived here. It was the only place no one would look for me." She studied me. "Why are you really here, Kevin? To gloat? To gather material for another special? To make sure I'm suffering enough?" I didn't know how to answer. The truth was complicated. I had come because I needed to see the end of the story, needed to confirm that my revenge had been complete, needed to know if it would finally make me feel whole. "I did exactly what you planned to do to me," I said finally. "I used you as a stepping stone to fame." She nodded. "Ironic, isn't it? You became everything you hated about me." The words stung because they were true. I had transformed myself into a mirror image of what I despised. Had used the same tactics, the same manipulation, the same calculated public persona. Was any of it real? I asked. Us? She looked away. Parts, in the beginning. Before I saw the opportunity with Ballistic, it was the closest thing to honesty she had ever offered me. A small admission that mattered more than it should have. I'm not sorry for what I did, she continued. I was playing the game the only way I knew how, but I am sorry for what it turned you into. I stood uncomfortable with the direction of the conversation. I should go. At the door, she stopped me. Was it worth it? The revenge? Did it fix what I broke in you? I couldn't answer. We both knew the truth. Back in my hotel room, I couldn't sleep. Seeing Brittany reduced to that small life should have been satisfying. Instead, it left me questioning everything I'd become. The next morning, I drove back to the diner. She was working the counter, tired eyes, mechanical movements. She saw me enter and froze. One more conversation, I said. We met during her break, sat in my car in the parking lot. I'm leaving TV, I told her. After this season. She looked surprised. Why? You're at the top. Isn't that what you wanted? I wanted justice. I got vengeance. There's a difference. We sat in silence. A year of calculated destruction, of systematic dismantling of lives weighed between us. I found something in your old apartment, I said finally. After you left. A pregnancy test in the trash, positive, dated before you ever asked me to get the vasectomy. She looked away. So you know the whole truth. You were already pregnant when you convinced me to get the procedure. You already knew it was his. Yes, the simple confirmation should have ignited fresh rage. Instead, it brought clarity, the final piece that completed my understanding of how thoroughly I had been deceived. Goodbye, Brittany, I said. Driving back to Los Angeles, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not because of seeing her reduced circumstances, not because of confirming the extent of her deception, but because I was finally ready to leave it all behind. 2 weeks later, I announced my departure from Exposed. Cited a desire to explore new opportunities. The truth was simpler. I didn't want to be that person anymore. My final episode aired to record ratings. I ended with a direct address to the camera. Deception exists because we want to believe, because trust is easier than suspicion, because hope is more comforting than doubt. I've spent 2 years exposing lies. Now I want to find some truths. The next day, my agent called with news. A major streaming platform wanted me to host a new show about people rebuilding after public falls. A redemption narrative instead of an exposé. I declined. That afternoon, I visited Brittany's former apartment building, a luxury high-rise we had once called home. I hadn't been back since the day I had discovered her betrayal. The new tenant let me in when I explained I had left something behind. The place had been completely redone. No trace remained of our life together. In the bathroom where I had once stared at my reflection and felt something break inside me, I looked at myself. Again. The man in the mirror was neither the trusting fool I had been nor the calculated destroyer I had become. Someone new was emerging. My phone rang. My agent again, persistent with offers, opportunities, ways to capitalize on my fame. I need time, I told him. I'll call you when I'm ready. I walked out of the building into bright sunshine. My car waited at the curb, engine running. A different life waited beyond the horizon. The best revenge isn't just success. It's making them watch. But the best victory is knowing when to walk away.